All right, so this is Monday, February 8th. I'm on I-94 eastbound in Michigan. We just left the welcome center, you know, which is at mile marker 1. This is mile marker 4, and you might see the flashing lights that one of my pilots and the other one is in the back, because Michigan requires 2 pilots because of the length. So how do you find pilots? In case somebody's wondering, well, I use a website. There's like a online directory called US Pilots. But first I called somebody that I worked with before. I know this lady is based in Michigan, so it would be okay for her, but she didn't return my calls, she didn't return my texts. So I called another company out of New York. I know they're based in Buffalo, and she wanted $1.65 a mile. $1.65. And I need a pilot all the way from Indiana line, which is New Buffalo, Michigan, to Port Huron, Blue Water Bridge. And that's 285 or 287 miles. So basically, at first I said yes to $1.65, and she says each, right? And then after we hang up, I started calculating, and it's 285 times 2 times $1.65. That's $900 US. So it's over $1,000 Canadian for me. And so I said no. Can we do better? Because 900, that's too much. You know, maybe like 700, 8. But I draw a line at 900. And she said no, that's how much they charge. And so I sent her an email. I said, please cancel the pilots, because yeah, one guy already called me. Hey, I'm your pilot for tomorrow. And I said, hey, no, I just emailed her. I said, I cannot use you guys, you're too expensive. I need to find somebody cheaper. And I emailed that other lady again. I know she used to charge me like $350 for Michigan, but again, she's nowhere to be found. So I go to this US Pilots website and call the first number I can see. And basically, yeah, in that directory, they're all listed by the state. So you just enter the state, and of course I need a pilot for Michigan, but I can use somebody who lives nearby. Basically, usually the cheapest way is to find somebody who is close to your location. So let's say I need a pilot in New Buffalo, Michigan, right? So it can be somebody even from like the truck stop where I was sitting, Porter, Indiana, right? It's 20 miles away, as opposed to, let's say, Detroit, Michigan, which is 200 miles away, right? And so it doesn't matter. It can be Indiana, Michigan. They all can work in other states. Like even on this lady's door, it says Indiana. You know. So basically, yeah, you find somebody close to your location. Doesn't matter what state. But usually in Michigan, they're not too busy, and so the rates should be okay. But I know why this lady from Buffalo wanted a lot of money, because she's too far, right? She was probably outsourcing to somebody local, you know. She found somebody, so she was kind of like, I'm guessing, like double brokering, right? She probably called the same US pilot, so she called some friends. Hey, I have a guy here that needs 2 pilots, you know, and then they have to pay her commission. And so I called the first number on this directory, US Pilots, and the lady says, well, I cannot do it myself, but I have a couple of friends that might be able to help you. Where do you need them, and what state? So I explained. And then 5 minutes later, my phone rang, and this lady, who is my lead car, she says, hey, you SERGEI, right? I said, yeah. She says, well, I'm Debbie. This lady called me. I forgot the name who I called first time. And I said, what do you charge? She says $1.50. $1.50. I said, hey, that's already much better, right? That's what I was expecting, as opposed to $1.65. Now we're talking about $815. And I told her, I said, can we make it even $800? And she says, okay, hold on, let me check on the map. And I told her the, entry point into Michigan, exit point. And she says, okay. And I said, can you take credit cards? No. All right, I'll get you some cash. And that's another challenge. I wanted to, yesterday, Sunday, right? So I went to the hotel for 2 nights. It was like minus 15 Celsius, I don't know, 3F. And the hotel was, I don't know, 1/3 of a mile away, 600 meters. And so I went there Saturday after I came from Racine, Wisconsin. So I went to the hotel and I made sure all my tanks were full. I put that Magic Canadian anti-gel in a green bottle into each tank. I made sure there was no water in my water separator, and I added more antifreeze, that special brake antifreeze. I put in lines, just open the red line, put in a few drops, and then open the blue line, put in a few drops, and make sure that nothing freezes in my airlines. And then I went to the hotel, watched a nice TV over there, like, I don't know, 85-inch diagonal, except I pressed the power and it says not set up, or something like cannot find, no signal. A huge TV, Samsung, looks like brand new. So I go to the front desk, I say, guys, I cannot get the TV working. And she said, oh, those are new, so just press 07 on the remote. And then use your, up and down channel button. And it turns out 07 was the first channel. And so once you press 07, it goes black for a second. And then it shows you that first channel in the lineup. And for the first day, I was just going all through the channels with the channel button. Because I tried, like I have a directory of channels. I wanted to watch some movies, but I couldn't just punch in the channel number, because it would show me again that message, no signal. So then I have to go back to 07 top secret code. But it was cool. But I wanted to watch the Super Bowl. I couldn't find a live transmission over there. Like, what was it? It was supposed to be NBC, CBS, whatever, right? There was nothing. So I just watched some movies, watched some YouTube, and Sunday around lunchtime I came to the truck stop, warmed, spent about 30 minutes running the truck, and actually it was not that cold, but you don't want the truck to sit for 48 hours in cold weather. So I went there and I just made sure everything worked, warmed it up, and I actually wanted to drop the trailer and just bobtail to next exit on the freeway, because I found there was a Panera Bread in there, there was a Meijer. I like that store because I wanted to take some cash, right? Like at the the thing you should know, if you ever need cash, never use big truck stops. Like the one I was sitting at, TA, Loves, they all have the same ATM, like the same network machines, and they're super expensive. They charge you a big fee for each withdrawal. Like in my case, of course it depends what bank you're with, especially, my cards are Canadian, so they charge me like too much, almost like $3, I forgot. And the worst part is that they limit how much you can take out in one sitting. So let's say I need $800, the stupid machine will give me like 200 bucks. That's it, maximum. So I have to do 4 transactions, and they charge me like $3.50 each time. You know, that's just crazy. Whereas if you find a small bank, or well, like I was hoping this Maya, right? Maya, like some of them, you know, some smaller gas stations, like it says no fee ATM. So of course your bank will still charge you something, but at least there's no fee at the ATM itself, because yeah, like that case, worst case scenario I mentioned, $3.50 or $3 for 200 bucks. That's just the ATM fee, and then my bank will charge me because I'm using somebody else's ATM. So it would cost me like 20 bucks to take out $800 from TA where I was sitting. So I said no. I have checks on US dollars, but of course nobody wants to do that, you know, especially when you're a foreigner, alien from Canada. You know, what happens if your checks bounce, right? Or what, they cannot even drive across the border now, right? And find you or send some Mexican assassins, you know, they cannot do that because of COVID. So all rules of engagement have changed, so no checks. But that other lady that I work with in Michigan, she has this little attachment on her phone, what is it called, Square, right? So she just swipes your card, or she can type in the number. So she was...
Drone coming around is clear. SERGEI, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Very good.
And so I got my alarm set up for 6:15, but I'm in Porter, Indiana. You know, it can be very confusing. And I told these guys, I said, meet me at 8 o'clock, because once you enter Michigan, that's Eastern time. I said, let's meet at 8 o'clock Eastern time at the first rest area when you enter Michigan. It's like mile marker 1. And I set up my alarm clock for 6:15, but I went to bed like around 8. I don't know, it was already dark, there was nothing good on TV, so I just went to bed, and I wake up, it's 5 o'clock. And I go in the bathroom to brush my teeth, and I started thinking, wait a second, so 5 o'clock Central, that's already 6 Eastern. I told these guys 8, so I would never have made it if I slept until 6:15, which is already 7:15, right? So I needed like half an hour to get to the Michigan border, because my truck stop was mile marker 22, and the last mile post in Indiana is like 47. So it's a good thing that I woke up at 5 Central Time or 6 Eastern Time, you know. So I had a quick protein shake with water. I brought with me some of that powder. When I went to the truck Sunday, I took some of that powder, and so because I knew that it'll be all rush today. Because these guys, why it's rush, and why you often see oversized loads fly like crazy, is because if these guys have to wait for me for the second day, I have to pay for their hotel, and they will charge me a daily rate. You know, even if it's, let's say we came short and it's already dark, so I have to shut down, and we're like 50 miles away from my destination, like the Blue Water Bridge. These guys, I would have to pay for their hotel, and then they would still charge me like $3.50 a car, or whatever their daily rate is. Yeah, I think it's $3.50. Like that's the thing. They say $3.50 a day or $1.50 a mile, whatever's greater. And so that would be like another 700 bucks. Right, so I cannot do that. So now we're driving pretty much non-stop. but we gotta go through Grand Rapids, and that's what my permit wants me to do. So instead of staying on 94, we see, like, that's 94, so I'm over here, and like the lake is to my left, somewhere behind these dunes, and we're taking I-196 to Grand Rapids, and then 96 east to 69. So it's a bit further, but that's what they want me to do. Speaking about dunes, that place where I was parked for the weekend has some kind of dune, like Indiana Dunes Park, you know, and it would be great, because I was looking like where I can go, you know, to walk with my sticks, you know, with my poles, Nordic walking stuff. And but it was all too fine. It was very cold, you know, otherwise I would just, if I had my camera with me now, I would just disconnect the truck and go to that park for sure, take some pictures, you know, make a video, but it was too cold, and I don't have a camera right now. Had to sell it in January, so I'm gonna buy it again. I like that camera, same one, Nikon D850, even though it's been released in 2017, but man, what a great camera, I'm telling you, like, pictures are amazing. And so that's probably the easiest, the next best thing to being a McDonald's worker, where you get free burgers for lunch. It's being a pilot driver. I'm telling you guys. That's my retirement plan. $1.50 a mile, no chains, no binders. You just drive a car and you play a video game on your phone, and once in a while, hey, can you hear me? Or, hey, Sergei, the ramp is clear. Man, I cannot believe it that I'm paying $800 to go through the freaking Michigan. I'm gonna kill my broker, because I'm gonna scale. If I'm less than 105,000 pounds, I could have, you know, let's say I'm 100,000. That means that I could have left the Jeep at home, and then I could have just moved it on 8 axles, and of course then I don't need these guys, right? So, but you know, like I always say, you cannot trust brokers and shippers about weight and dimensions. They never know. Even crane guys, like the guy who loaded me, right? He says, well, the gauge on the crane showed 105. So that is more trustworthy, right? But not 100%. And so, like, I was thinking where I want to stop, because my border crossing is still, like, as of yesterday, it was still not set up. Like, I did my own, I did my end, but the freight broker, I mean, the customs broker that my freight broker is using, they did not do their part, so I cannot cross. But I'm too long, like, you know, I would normally go to the same Marathon Gas in Marysville, but I'm too long because of the Jeep. I would block half of that truck stop. And so I'm gonna go to Love's, like one exit before. There's a huge new Love's truck stop, and I've been there with this last load, with the previous load, and I know where to go. I know I can take 2 spots, one after another. And they have a scale. So that's the plan. The plan for today is to reach that Love's truck stop so that I can let the pilots go and only pay them for one day. And then scale the load. So that I know who I...
Oncoming traffic on the ramp. Should be out and not interfere with you, Serge.
Yeah, 10-4. I'll go in the left lane because this one is too bumpy.
Copy that, sir. It's clear. Come on over.
And I don't know if you can see it, but every 5 feet there's a patch. That's what they do in Michigan, and that's why it's so bumpy. I better watch my speed. Once a cop stopped me because I was going like 60 miles an hour. All right, going back.
You're clear.
So I was doing 60 miles an hour, a guy pulls me over. Can I see your permit? And of course, the first thing he does, he goes to page 3, where at the bottom there's a spot you have to sign. The driver has to sign. And I always sign it because, you know, they'll give you a ticket if it's not signed. Son of a gun, look at this road. And the guy looks at my signature and says, oh, you're already doing better than 90% of other truckers. At least you sign it. And he says, you know what the speed is? What your maximum speed is under this permit? I said, yes, sir, 50 miles an hour. But I said, if I drive 50, people will start shooting at my tires. And he said, well, you were doing 58. He says, that's just don't, but he says some guys just go 65 and then we stop them and they don't realize they, you know, 65, that's 15 miles over. So he says, technically we can give you a ticket. But that time, that was a very, you know, nice cop. He was just, I guess he was just bored. And he just stopped me to see if I signed my permit. Over here you see sections, right? Most of the time it's the curb lane that's bad like this. But I never saw anywhere like this. You see, like instead of replacing the entire road, they just put these patches. You see, like this white colored patches every 5-6 feet. I'm not sure what the idea is, like to make people lose their teeth.
The traffic is all around. I think you cleared it.
Yeah, I'm slower than that. The road is so bumpy, I had to slow down. Guys, if something falls off the truck, you let me know, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, especially that big thing in the middle. Like if it rolls off, we need to stop and pick it up.
Yes, sir.
No, don't worry. It was a joke. I have a bunch of chains on it. It's not gonna move.
I'm not real sure how we pick it up, but we figure out something.
Okay, 10-4.
I'll stop and get it, pick it up, and I'll have it when we get to where we're going.
Yeah, that piece they're telling me is 105,000 pounds, so I don't think we'll be picking it up if it falls off.
I copy that. Let's just pray there's not a car under it when it happens.
No, it's all jokes. It's all good. So it's sitting in a kind of like a cradle, so we should be okay. The only reason I need you guys is because of the length, right? Because Michigan, once you go over what 105 feet, you need second pilot.
Sir. I knew it's because you were so long. You've got my number now, so anytime you need us, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Yeah, I saved your number, Debbie. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
What's your rate, like daily rate? If there's less miles, what is it, like 350 or something?
It's $1.55 a mile or $3.50, whichever's greater.
$1.55? I thought it was $1.50, no?
Usually it's $1.55, but I'll do $1.50 for you.
All right, thank you. Sounds good.
Whichever's greater, yeah. You got some rough road right there coming onto this bridge. Lane is there.
Yeah, roads in Michigan are something.
Yeah, they don't take care of them.
No, it's because they allow too much weight, right? Michigan allows too much weight, and that heavy weight, that's what breaks all these roads here.
Copy that, sir. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so you see $1.55. So let's say 300 miles. So 100 miles would cost 155 bucks. Right? So $1.50 would be 150 times 3. Wait a second, 150, that's already 450. I'm not sure if I'm saving anything with these guys compared to the previous company I found, but I thought we agreed on 400 bucks. Because yeah, it's less than 300 miles. It's like 285, maybe 280 to that Love's truck stop.
Sergey, you don't want to take 96 up to Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah, I need to take 96.
Copy that, sir.
yellow sign, 196 north, exit 34. And we are 250 kilometers away, 150 miles from Perry, Michigan. I'm gonna stop at that road oasis. And you grab some coffee and keep going. Check my chains. So we should be there. We should be in Perry around 11 o'clock.
This exit right here, SERGEI?
Yeah, this one. Yep.
Copy that.
Today is day number 9 of my dry February campaign. So no alcohol the whole month of February. And donations have been coming. I think I'm already over 500 bucks. Which again, they don't come to me, they go directly to Canadian Cancer Society. A couple of people, you know, send me a note saying they lost somebody, like a brother or a girlfriend or something like that, and I got a couple of donations which were over $100 because they lost somebody to cancer. And
On-ramp is clear.
yeah, 10-4. So I think this one should be okay. This road. But I know 69 will be pretty bumpy around Lansing. It's so, like, the pavement is really broken. Like right before, yeah, where the Flying J is. Where the Flying J is at 96 and 69. But I don't want to stop at that one. I want to get out of Lansing before I stop. So I stop in Perry. I'll stop in Perry.
Lane 1 clear if you need over.
Like, I'm not sure what, you know, the methodology is of some of these people, right? Like, the guy is driving at 45 miles an hour and he's merging. He's trying to merge with traffic at 45 miles per hour. So you have to honk at them to tell them they have to speed up. this is not a very bad load, you know, like I was afraid it would start shifting. No, it didn't shift one single, you know, inch. It sits like in a cradle in the middle of the trailer. And I have so many chains on it. It's just I'm long and heavy, right? But also I am well within my lane. Okay, on this side, hold on, let's see if the edge of the load is on the white line. Where is this one? Oh, it's pretty much the same. So my width is pretty much the width of the lane, I think. So it's not too bad. It's not like it's, you know, 12 feet wide or 13 feet wide. It's just the weight and the length. And that's why I need the Jeep. And that's why I need these two pilots over here. But I did not need any pilots in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, right? So you cannot have everything. You have to pay the you have to pay to the government. They cannot let it slide. You're making money, they want to make money. Yeah, one guy asked me in Russian why I need the booster in the back, and I just wanted to point out again a very
car coming on the on-ramp.
Yeah, 10-4. I just wanted to point out again a very important thing I learned myself when I got this booster, is that you know the booster, right? And I'm talking about that big spreader bar, 14 feet. By the way, if I was buying this again, I would never buy a 14-foot booster again, because most states are okay with 12 or even 10. You know, like on a flatbed trailer you have this spread, right? Like 10-1, which is 121 inch, and they give you 20,000 per axle, 121. That's the same idea. So if you have more than 10 feet 1 inch, that's a separate axle group, and most states will give you the proper weights. I think there's only one state where they want 14-1, and everybody else is, you know, 10 or even 12. So I would go with 12 if I was buying this booster again, you know, because it's all custom, right? They can make it shorter. Also, it would have been stronger. And then imagine now, instead of 107 feet long, I would be 105, right on the edge where you need second pilot, so you can tell them, hey, 104.11, you know, and then you only need one pilot, so you're saving $400. But yeah, so what I wanted to say is that boosters, just think of boosters as something that pushes the weight forward. So if you take a regular truck with no Jeep, and then you just decide to hook up 3+1, like Tridem trailer single axle booster, or 2+2, like what I have now, because the axles are away from the load now, right, as opposed to regular quad or Tridem, more weight goes to the truck. And so that's I just say the booster pushes the weight forward compared to a regular setup, and so you need to compensate that with something. So either you have to have a long neck, and that's why it works, you know, when I went to the to pick up this Cat 336, right, I didn't want to disconnect the booster because too much work. Like disconnecting is easy, but reconnecting is a pain in the butt. And so I run 2+2, but because it pushes too much weight on the truck, I had to use that big neck. Oh, and that's another guy asked me, why do you need such a big neck? And that's why. So either have that big neck, 83-inch, which of course puts the truck forward, so more weight goes on the back, so they kind of balance each other, right? The booster pushes the weight forward, the long neck pushes the weight back. All right, that's what you want. But with this load, at first they told me it was 100,000 pounds, and I thought, you know, I can just move it on 8 axles, and then the guy says, oh, now they're saying it's 105. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, now I need the Jeep, just to be sure, because I don't know, maybe one side is heavier. You know, 105 on my trailer is already too heavy for 8 axles. I need 9. And so that's why I have the booster and I have the Jeep. So the Jeep and the booster, they balance each other and nothing is overloaded. All right, just never use the booster by itself, because then, well, you can still use it, but you'll have to load your machine as close to the rear as possible, because the rear axles will be underloaded and the truck will be overloaded, right? So you have to move the load away from the truck, which is not always possible. And to give you an idea of the weather conditions, well, right now it says -13. So I think we're about probably 5 or 6 F. But check this out. I left the water in the truck for 2 nights. You see this? So, inhumane conditions, but trucking must go on. Something is going on here. People in ditches, and Debbie was telling me, be careful, it looks like we have ice.
Yeah, they're getting on this ice and not realizing that's what they're running on. They'll be coming up.
And there's a cop. Like there were 3 cops that passed in this direction. You know, one guy turned around and he's just driving next to me. Oh wow, Michigan finally got some new, you know, they got rid of those mushrooms. Yeah, that's what I thought. So there's an accident over there. A fire truck and some kind of a small trailer. Yeah, I think it's one of those trailers that pickup trucks pull, like a little horse trailer. Oh no, it's a pickup truck on the side. Check this out. Oh, it came from this direction. It came from this direction, flipped over.
SERGEI B's going to have to slow down a little bit behind you. She's fishtailing back there. Losing traction.
So she doesn't have a 4x4?
No, sir, she's got a front-wheel drive.
Yeah, I could feel it too. I need to lift my pusher, you know, that's what happens. I have the lift axle down and I have too little weight on my drives. But Michigan wants me to use all the axles. Like you look at the road, right? Like regular road. But first she started saying she lost traction. And then the girl in the back, if you heard her, I said, does she have a 4x4? They said no, she just has a front wheel drive. And you see all the cars slow down. And I was climbing a hill, I could feel like my front just went a little bit sideways. But yeah, I'm telling you, like this, I'm not sure why Michigan has this policy about all axles. Because for me it's dangerous. I see I have light load on the drives, where of course that's where my traction is. Like the pusher is not driving, right? So the pusher just takes weight off the drives, which doesn't help in this kind of weather. So if it starts getting too bad, I will have to lift it, you know. I will have to lift the pusher to keep the truck on the road. Sorry, what did you say?
I said they need to come through here and salt these roads. Sorry I'm having to go so slow, Sergei, but I don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's okay, as long as we can get to Port Huron in one day.
Oh, honey, yeah. We'll get there if it takes us to 8 o'clock tonight. We'll get there.
And just to clarify about the rate, I thought yesterday we agreed on like $400 per car, but if it's $1.55, then it's more than that.
No, sir. $400 a run for me, for Betty.
All right, you got a deal. Just don't go in the ditch. I need you. I need 2 cars, not 1.
I'm going to do my best not to go in a ditch, and if I do, we'll just have to get pulled out of there.
No, but yeah, you see over here it's pretty dangerous. Look how much snow is on the right.
Honey, I know. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. The reason I'm going so slow is because the ice is so bad. You can't steer on ice either if you get floppy jawed with this.
Another guy in the ditch. That's why those cops had so many lights, right? They were trying to warn people to slow down. Oh yeah, and I see we're gonna have some issues up ahead. Yeah, Debbie, I think we're coming to some slowdowns. Like I'm looking at Google Maps. There are probably some accidents up ahead.
Copy that, sir.
Yeah, I see
I wonder
the.
if these trucks realize what they're running on.
Yeah, if we do 40 miles an hour, so what is that? 8 hours to reach Port Huron? Well, at least my tires are good. I got a pretty big, you know, tread. Usually it gets bad on hills, you know, when you have to climb. Of course, I can switch on my my traction thing, but yeah, you see now for some reason I don't have my traction control on. Like it's supposed to start by itself, right? Very slippery.
Copy that.
I think it's because we're so close to the lake, right? We need to get east. Once we start going east, I think it should be good. See what happens. My Jeep also, the Jeep does not drive, right? And that's the problem sometimes with these multi-axles, is that the Jeep takes too much weight. That's why I have like what, 55 psi on the drives right now. That's, I would rather have somewhere around 70, you know. But I think it's because we're close to the lake. That's why, you know, the lake is over here. You see this mass? And so now we're gonna start heading east away, and it should be better. Because yeah, 94 was okay, right? I was driving a 94, like over here. At the south there, it was okay. But once we got this way, like more to the north, like it's a bit scary. Well, we made it out of that ice hell, and just as I thought, the roads became much better near Grand Rapids once we got away from the lake, right? Because that ice, I-169, 196 was going real close to the lake, and then once we turned east towards Grand Rapids, the roads became better. And you see now, this is I-69. We just left Perry, exit 105, where we stopped at the Perry Road Oasis truck stop. Because I told him, I said, I want to stop here. And I said, I need to find you money, because I didn't want to go to a bank machine at a big truck stop. Of course, I did not gain anything. Over here, it's still the same tricks. First off, they limit how much you can withdraw by $200. So to get 800, I had to make four withdrawals and pay $2.50 for each withdrawal. So it cost me 10 bucks to get 800 bucks cash. It's such a scam, you know. But for me, it's business expense. What do you do? I need cash. I cannot carry thousands of cash with me in the States, and so Now, you know, in my books I'll just write $810 Canadian instead of 800. So it's all deductible, business expense. So my lead car is Toyota Tacoma, and the chase car, the car in the rear, is Soccer Mom's minivan, Dodge. I think it's a Dodge Caravan with a front-wheel drive. And this one was spinning, had spinning issues on that ice road. And the lady in the back also, with her front-wheel drive, she had some issues. Even my truck, you probably saw, my truck went a little bit sideways. I had to lift the pusher axle just to increase the traction. But now we're almost in the summer, so -8 Celsius. Before it was -16, so -8, so that's probably, I'm guessing, somewhere 8F, I don't know, 7F, somewhere there, below 10. Okay, hold on, so 0 is 32, so -10 is 32 minus 18, which is what, 14? Yeah, so -10 Celsius is 14F, and we're at -8, which is warmer. Oh wow, so we're now to double digits Fahrenheit. So we're probably 16F now. All right. Yeah, that's why I like Celsius. Much easier to calculate. Well, actually I don't need to calculate anything because this is my native scale. And even Kelvin, right? You take 273 and you deduct the actual temperature. So 273 minus 3, 270 minus 5, so 265. So -8 Celsius is 265 Kelvin. And we stopped before, once we reached the ramp for I-96 near Grand Rapids. I asked him to let me stop and check the chains. Everything was good. The road sits like it's как вкопанный, as we say in Russia, as if it's dug in, you know. All the chains are good. I just checked them again. Lost 2 flags, or so I thought. Went to the truck to get flags. I go back and turns out I didn't lose the flags. You know, I have those magnetic little foundations, right? Turns out the flags were just blown inside the cylinder in the back. I could not see them. So all the flags are fine. And yesterday, when I did my customs paperwork, I noticed that there was no match. So the customs broker did not do the electronic filing. And so I emailed my freight broker and I said, something's going on here. I cannot cross the border like this. And this morning he just forwarded me, I see the signature says the name of my freight broker, but the text of the email is basically, he just copied and pasted it without bothering, see attached, you know, like hi, bye, nothing. He just copied the text from the email he received from the broker, and it says, tell him it's not electronic, there's not gonna be a match. He has to go inside and get the paper package. And they give me the name of my customs broker where I have to go in. So this is gonna be a долгая песня, long song, crossing the border. At least I don't have to stop on the US side. So I show up at the booth, and you tell the customs agent that this is not an electronic clearance, that I have to see the broker. And then usually she just writes NOF. At least that's what they write on the US side. Nancy Opera Flint, not on file. Meaning that she could not find my entry on the computer. Who's your broker? They always ask, who's the broker? Like in case I'm cheating, you know, in case I say I have to go see somebody, and then once she lets me go, I just turn, instead of turning right to the customs building, I turn left and get my afterburner going and take off. Who's your broker? So I know who my broker is, don't you worry about that. And then you just go there, you park, and you go upstairs. They have like 3 floors of brokers over there. No, actually it's 1 floor. The building is like a 4-story building, but only 1 floor is brokers. At the top, no, I think there's some at the bottom as well. Anyway, I'll have to look at the index. Little panel, it'll tell me where my broker is located. And then I go there, she gives me like this kind of a stack of paperwork. And I go down and put everything in the tray with the actual customs. And then go sit in the lounge. And then when they're ready, they call you on the speaker. And that's why you have to put your name somewhere there so that they know who to call. SERGEI DRATCHEV? That's me, sir. But actually it's funny, quite often they do pronounce my name correctly. You know, I think the French spelling helps of my last name. I mentioned this before, but when I was immigrating from Russia, the Russian Foreign Ministry used the French alphabet. Like French was the official language of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And so they take your name, and the girl, when she was issuing me the passport, she had like a big table behind her on the wall where there was a corresponding French letter for each Russian letter. So she just looks, of course, you know, she knows D, right? DRATCHEV. Like in Russian, my name is pronounced DRATCHEV. SERGEI DRATCHEV. And so she just looks, okay, D-R-A, and then Ch. Okay, what are we using for the Ch sound, right? And English is just CH, right? French is TCH. And so she spells my name D-R-A-T-C-H-E-V. Now I go to Canada, and I could have changed it, but I kind of got used to it. You know, you can change your name to anything. And then I think 2 years after that, they switched the language to English at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And my brother went to get his passport, and of course his last name is DRATCHEV. And I say, hey, how did they spell your name? And he says D-R-A-C-H-E-V. Son of a gun. I said, why do I got the TCH in the middle? And he says, I don't know, that's how they spell it now. And then I found somewhere on the internet that, yeah, that was the thing. So my name is actual French spelling, his name is English spelling. So we are brothers, right? The same family name, but in English on my passport, my name is spelled differently from his. But, and I'm coming to a point, I promise. So the point is that it is easier for English speakers to understand how to say my name. Because if you just see a crazy name with a D-R-A-C-H, you know, people don't know how to pronounce CH. K is a DRATCHEV, you know, nobody will say ch, because CH in the middle of the word is never pronounced as ch, right? It's always spelled like, or in the, you know, like the word football match, right? M-A-T-C-H. And so actually this TCH in my name, I find that most people, especially educated people, just always say it correctly, you know, they say DRATCHEV. Mr. DRATCHEV? Yeah, here. So there's always silver lining, right? Or as my mom likes to say, все, что не делается, все к лучшему, сынок.